Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this December 7th called meeting for the Utilities Commission, Fort Valley, Georgia. We'll be streaming, this is a Zoom meeting. We'll be streaming live on Facebook. I thank everybody for coming out. And if you would, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Good afternoon, commissioners and attorney. We'd like to open up, if I could, say a few words about this COVID thing. As the mayor stated earlier in conversation, we are moving up. The numbers are trending up in the county. As you see, Commissioner Rose and Attorney Patrick, if you're in a space where somebody else is around you, put your mask on. We have to wear a mask when we get around those that we have doubt of where they're being and what they're doing in their conditions. I ask everyone to mask up, social distance. Let's not live in fear, but let's live in faith, understand and move forward. Commissioner Thompson, would you say a word of prayer for us to get this started?
Yes. Let us all bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this day asking that you strengthen us and give us knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what we're about to embark on. Father, we ask that this meeting be the best meeting ever, and we will surely give you all the praise and glory. Father, just one more thing. Would you please bless and keep all the sick, the shut in, the bereaved families everywhere. And we be sure to give you all the praise and glory, all the praise and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Thompson, for those words. We do appreciate everything, all the prayers for everyone on planet Earth. We thank you so much. We're going to move on with our agenda item for today. First topic is financial update. Mr. Sinet, I think that's you.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda.
I understand. I heard you. Approval of the agenda. Thanks for correction, Mr. Crafter.
No correction.
Sir?
No correction.
Well, the procedure. Approval of our agenda. Can I get a motion to approve our agenda for this afternoon?
One exception, Mr. Chairman. Could we put maybe executive session is in the middle? Can we put that at the end? Because I understand it's going to be long, and the rest of it ain't going to be that long.
Well, I understand it was asked to be there for a reason. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm out of order with that, Ms. Penny, Ms. Patrick, or Mr. Ned.
What was the question?
To relocate the executive session on the agenda. Any objections? All right, we'll move the executive session to which item? Item 10.
Go ahead.
You're moving to executive session now, Mr. Chairman?
No, sir. They want
okay.
to Mr. Crafter desires to move the executive session item to another location, to another one of our 12 items.
We can get through with all other business and then go into executive, unless Ms. Patrick has somewhere to go. But if it's going to be long, I don't think the first part is going to be that long.
We'll move it to behind COVID relief.
The report from, okay, no problem.
You have a different suggestion, Mr. Crafter?
No, I got, no problem.
Okay, it's all, need everybody, need a motion to amend that agenda, put the executive session at behind item COVID-19 relief. Could get a-
Actually, I don't have a hard copy of the agenda with me. I
Either.
thought one was supposed to come. Did anybody else got a hard copy?
I didn't.
So we didn't
Um,
get one.
I didn't get those delivered.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. So I'm just following your lead, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion to amend the agenda. I attend the motion.
So moved. So move.
All right. Call for the vote. Everybody vote for changes, amend the agenda to executive session to be behind COVID-19 relief. All right. You got the votes, motion and vote, Ms. Penny?
I did, thank you.
Okay. All right. Moving on with our agenda. Thank you, Ms. Scraps, for the moving everything forward. Financial report, financial update. Item
Okay,
one on the
Mr.
agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be as brief as I can with all that I have so you can get to the length of your agenda. The first thing is the financial update. If you have your copy of the revenue and expense report, I'll go over that very quickly. And then I'll go to the operations update. But on the revenue and expense report, if you'll look on your copy under operating revenues, I'm sorry, we had budgeted for the year $1,836,000 through October. The total revenues that were billed was $1,723,000. That is $112,705 deficit. The next column is the cost of goods sold. That is what we pay for gas and electric to resell. It also includes the treatment plant's cost, the treatment plant of water and the wastewater treatment plant. The total cost of goods sold, we had budgeted at $1,142,000. The actual cost of goods is $1,116,000. That is a $25,858, I'd say shortfall, but it's less than what we had budgeted, which is a good thing. And so the gross margin, which is the third major paragraph down, we had budgeted $694,115 for our gross margin, and the total came in at $607,268. That shows a gross margin of minus $86,848 through October. The next section is total expenses. Those are all the expenses that we incur in the process of providing utilities. If you go down to the bottom line, bolded, total expenses, we had $933,882 budgeted. The expenses came in at $774,883, which is $158,999 less than we had budgeted for total expenses. So all of that shakes out to the operating income down on the bottom, next to the bottom line. We had budgeted $239,767 as a deficit in operating income. It came in at $167,615 as the operating income for the month. And throughout the budget year, depending on the time of the year we're in, we will be budgeting for a negative operating income. That's neutralized, so to speak, by those months where we have big, heavy billing, such as wintertime with gas or electric in the summer. So right now we're 167,000 minus, and we were anticipating 240. So that's good in itself. We didn't come in the hole as much as we had thought. Now that's the financial update, unless you have any questions. Then I'll move to the operations update.
I have a question. Chairman. You said that, Mr. Ned,
Yes.
the total expenses,
Yes,
933,800. I didn't get that figure.
that was what was budgeted, 933,882.
882.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we thought, but that's what we had budgeted, but the expenses came in a lot less than that. It came in almost $159,000 less than that.
Right.
At
Could you give me the actual figure, 774,800? I didn't get the,
774,883.
all right. Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion for Mr. Watson? Okay, no other discussion. That's the financial report operations, Mr. Watson.
Okay, the first one will be Director of Financial Services report. Our finance manager has been working, reconciling the Synovus bank statements, the BB&T bank statements, and the trial balance accounts for October of 2020. And she began closing the interest for fiscal year 20. She has also spent some time responding to several commission requests for different documents and different financial statements. The customer service manager report. Customer service posted 5,102 payments in October. We have had a total of 2,629 customers who have registered online, which is a good thing. That if you register your account online, you can go look at your bill and pay for your bill online if you like. It shows all you have to have is your account number for that. At the bottom of the customer service manager report, she speaks of drive-through payments, which I thought was really stuck out. We had 2,096 customers use the drive-through in November. Now there were only 21 normal days in October, work days, and 3 of those were holidays. So really we only had 118 business days in October. So those 2,096 customers were spread out over 18 days. That's 116 a day. And if you do the math, that's a drive-through customer every 4 minutes for all day long. Plus they're working with all the phone calls during the same time they're attending to the customer. So the customer service folks are doing a really good job and staying busy. The lobby is still closed at the present time unless a customer has an appointment. So all the activities are going either drive-through or credit card payments. We had 89 customers were billed under the 12-month average payment plan. I think that's a little low. I don't know why we don't have a higher percentage of people utilizing the monthly average payment plan. It's really a good deal. It stabilizes your bill every month for almost a whole year. So we've had that for quite a while, and I find it to be a very good program. The next monthly report is from the electric department. I won't go through all the operations activities they've done and all the jobs they've completed. I'll just hit a couple off each one of them that I think are pretty important. In electric, we lost 2 employees last month. We lost a lineman and a lineman apprentice. They left for other employment. We now only have 1 lineman, 1 apprentice, and a working foreman. We would like to increase the number of trucks we have. The workload is increasing for the electric department. We have newer loads coming in. We're only operating 1 truck or 2 trucks. I would really like to, at some point in the future, talk about rolling 3 trucks. That would require 3 linemen and 3 apprentices. including plus Mike, who is Mike Massengale is a working foreman. So we would have to do some more hiring. We really need a couple more linemen and a couple more apprentices. We will address that later on. I'm not saying do that now. I'm just putting it out there. We could use some more linemen, and getting linemen getting more and more difficult. The other thing in the electric department, I'm going to spend a couple minutes on this. This is an electric feed for the Peach County High School. The commissioners approved a process to put a new feed in for the new school. That contracts for $213,836. And that was to reconductor the existing feed out of Station 1 from Highway 96 East, that station. Been looking at that. The electric department, in conjunction with Electric Cities of Georgia, they've gone back and looked at this again and come up with another option, and I think is pretty good. Option 1 is to just upgrade the wire poles and add in coordination to isolate the taps. And then any fault would come back to the station. Ultimately, that will protect the school and existing customers in the area for bad power quality. The new option is option 2. Its estimated cost is $85,000. That's $132,000 less than what you've already approved for the original power needs for the new school. Option 2 would require a new tap out of Station 4, and it would parallel the transmission line all the way down Troutman Avenue to MEAG. It is less expensive. Option 2 doubles our capacity in the area and allows us to be available for a customer choice load on Highway 96 in the future. The county has plans to widen Full Wood Road, and when they do, we will need to move our existing lines from that area. If we choose option 2, we will be ahead of the game when this happens, and ultimately this will save us money in the long run. The downside of option 2 is we will have a monthly tap fee of $800 payable to MEAG for the feeder out of Station 4. But when you do the math and the difference in the cost of the two options, the $800 a month, it'll take us 13 and a half years at $800 a month to get to that amount of money that we're saving. So it's really a pretty good deal. Option 1 does not increase our capacity by much. It only allows us to serve the high school. There would not be room for a customer choice load. We've already been communicating with MEAG to determine how long it would take for construction of this option if you so choose it. And unless you have any questions, I would like to put forth to the committee or to the commission that you amend or approve this option 2 for providing power to the new high school rather than the original plan that you approved. The original was almost 214,000. This one will be 85,000 and will have more benefits to it.
Chairman,
Sir.
from an order, I'd like to move that we amend the document that Mr. Watson is talking about and accept options 2, which is going to save us all that money.
So I have a motion on the floor to amend the option 2.
Second, I second the motion.
Second. All right. The motion second. Call for the vote. All those in favor by a show of hands.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry, I wasn't muted. I mean, wasn't unmuted, but I just want to ask a question. It can be before or after you pass it. It's not stopping it.
Okay, show of hands. Again, Ms. Penny, you got those that are in favor? Got it?
I do.
All those are against? I'm against. I don't thoroughly understand, and I'd like to get more information on it, on the benefit versus what we already have versus its capacity. But you got the information, Ms. Penny? Ms. Mayor, your
I
question?
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for not ignoring me, even though you say I can't have a vote. I wanted to ask the question as to if we were fed the wrong information when we did that before, because we talked about the increasing the capacity out Highway 96 for future development for out that way so that we could stand in line for that. So if we were going to increase our capacity for customer choice also, which puts us in a better position, I wonder what information we were given wrong from the very start. That's the only reason we voted to do that.
Well, Mayor, I voted against it because, you know, we had started it. We started the process. And that process versus option 2 and option other, I want to see the total benefit of all the options. If we had the wrong option at that time, then, you know, it could be the wrong option. But I think this commission should be trying to figure out, if we're going to move anywhere, how do we increase? How do we bring more people, more residents, more industries? How do we serve the people? You know, not just a one-string, one-stop operation. We need to be able to service people, increase our footprint.
Yeah. Okay. But I accept somebody who has the knowledge of what they're doing, making that recommendation to us. That's why I said I don't know whether we were given the wrong information from the very start. That's the reason we went in that direction. But the option, the thing that was given to us, when he said the magic word, save money, that would be what us make us want to amend that or change that. When he say we're going to save some money and we will not lose our capacity. As a matter of fact, it will still be able to increase the capacity and then make us eligible for customer choice. It's kind of a no-win situation, but I was just bringing it up that we were not being negligent when we voted on this to start with. We may have just been given the wrong information. Okay.
I don't think we were being negligent, but we probably were not knowledgeable. And
Okay.
I'm going to gain knowledge before I make the next move. Mr. Washington, you have anything else on the operations update?
Yeah, let me go back to what you were just talking about. When this originally came down, I don't think there was but one option. And that was the best one thought at the time. And then ECG and our electric department got together and started talking about it and realized they could do some other things other than what option 1 is. There wasn't an option 2 when this first came down. There was only one option. If you go to option 2, you're also increasing the potential for greater loads out Highway 341. And my suspicion is once that school gets there, there are going to be other entities moving in that area, and we'll be able to cover those with this option, as well as Highway 96. We will still have plenty of power out there for any loads.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Crafton.
my concern is, as the interim said, there was only one option. And with only one option, we can easily be taken advantage of.
Mhm.
One of the things that we asked for in our briefing was a listing of all the projects that we had ongoing. Can you hear me, Mr. Watson? Can Mr. Watson hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
What I would like to see, just as you looked at that just happened to be something that's going on right now. I would like to see a reassessment of all the projects that we have bid out in that manner to see if they are consistent with this one or something else. Case in point, we approved a contract for the work on what was that?
Water Tower, Fort Valley State.
No. Behind Bobby Minimar,
Park Avenue.
Park
Okay.
Avenue. And that project was approved for $135,000. You know, we need to reassess all these things to see if they follow the same pattern. And we need to change that because when you elect your cities and all these other folk to take care of your business, they're not concerned with your people. They're concerned with the bottom line, and that's their money. And if we got it, anybody get it, anybody take it. You know, it's our job to make sure they don't take what is not cost to do the work we need done. So with that, I'm through.
Mr.
All right,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Mr. Wa-
one last thing before we move that. I think we kind of moved hesitantly after that motion without getting a chance to make any comments or asking any questions, because I do believe if that option 2 had been proposed, I don't think we would have had a chairman voting against it if it was going to save us some money. I don't think. I think we called for the vote a little bit too quickly in order to be able to understand what the difference is. And I guess it's too late now. Well, it's not too late if somebody can withdraw that motion and go back and make it again. But I'm not sure you as a leader would have voted against that if the information that was just given us was already given before we passed the motion.
That's
all.
what happens when we don't have the full discussion and all that good
That's
stuff.
right. That's right.
Those are things.
That's
Granted, yes, I'm not for making hasty decisions. I want to have proper information.
Right.
Maybe if Mr. Watson had a chance we could quiz a little further before we got the motion to move forward, we probably could have had a different thing. But majority vote passed. We move on to the next option. Mr. Watson.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'm moving on through the operations report. That was electric, telecommunication. You can read through the rest of the operations departments. Most of it is just general day-to-day things that were handled. In the gas department, they did complete a cathodic protection survey, which is required to be administered by the state, and it's required to be done by a non-employee. So we have a company that does cathodic surveys of gas systems. And he found a couple of things that we're now correcting as far as the cathodic protection. The telecom have rerouted a service for the new water plant that's going to be going in at the Gano area. The water department, just to give you a heads up, the water department pumped 45,823 gallons of water last month. We have about a 22% loss of water from the amount pumped to the amount, from the amount billed to the amount pumped. Most water systems or successfully run water systems have about a 4 to 11% loss. So our loss ratio is much higher than we would like. You have lost water when you use water that's not being metered, like water hydrants that you have to have flushing to keep the water clear. There are several other things that occur in the water system where you just naturally have water loss and leaks that have water that has not gone through a meter. We're working on that, trying to find as many leaks as possible. I mean, if you have an 8-inch or a 12-inch water line with a pretty big leak in it, it'll waste thousands of gallons before you have a chance to even find it sometimes. The wastewater department sewer lines have cleaned 2,960 feet of sewer mains. That's a never-ending project, keeping sewer lines cleaned out, trying to keep the backups down to a minimum. They processed 26 million gallons of wastewater, and rain's always a big issue with wastewater treatment. And last month we had 4.4 inches of rain. That increases a tremendous amount of water to the wastewater plant for infiltration from water. The meter department is still working in the initial stages of automatic reading meters. I think that's all I have for the operations, Mr. Chairman, unless you have questions.
Any questions or discussion for Mr. Watson on the operations update?
Yeah, Ned,
Sir,
has there been or do we still have contractors putting up light poles?
For long projects, we'll use a contractor to put up poles, but if somebody runs into one or we have one damaged or something, we can replace the pole.
What is a long project?
I'm sorry?
What's
If
a
you're
long
gonna put
project?
you're gonna put in 50 or 100 power poles or put in new poles to a new subdivision or something like that, you're gonna have to have lines and transformers and
Mhm.
all that go with it. It's difficult for a 2-man crew or 4-man crew to do that for the utility commission and take care of the other issues that go around.
Right.
You know,
Well,
in the department.
If you get these other 3 trucks and other crews, will that make any difference in that?
Yes, we could do a lot more with 3 crews than we are with 1 or 2 crews, but we can't, even with that, we couldn't take on a big electrical project that's gonna
I
require
understand that.
a tremendous amount of hours. But to your question, yes, we could do a lot more than we're doing now, setting poles and running new line and transformers and things like that.
And the main question is, it's a maintenance thing, like a preventive maintenance. We need to look at our infrastructure and put together a plan where we can, over a period of time, change out some of the older poles and probably some transformers, whatever else, and put in new ones. Is that something that will be covered under? Can be covered under what you talking about?
We can, we are always trying to replace old poles. We have a pole inspection program where we have a contractor come in and they ride the whole electrical system, checking each pole, and then they give us a list of all the poles that need to be changed. And we try to get those poles changed in a normal work routine
All
and
right.
not go out on contractors.
All right, that's all I need.
Okay.
Can I ask one question about something else?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Where y'all were digging across the street from the new high school to put in what you were putting in out there. I see a lot of dirt heaped up over that way, and I see a lot of dirt heaped up over on the other side where they are doing the street, the road that goes to that school. That dirt that's heaped up over there from the digging, if there is not a need for it with that present project right there, the truck stop developer needs some field dirt out there in that place. And he was asking when they were doing the playground over at South Beach Park, he was asking if they could get some dirt from there, and they were going to use all of theirs with their road and that kind of thing. But where the utility commission was digging and putting what they were putting there, if there is dirt that they have to haul off, don't haul it out of the county. Mr. Gary Patel, who is the developer for the truck stop, could use it for field dirt in that for that project that's supposed to start in January. Thank you.
Okay, I will check on that, Mayor. If we have field dirt that has to be hauled off, I'm sure no one minds taking it to someone who needs it. A lot of times that's a chore to find what to do with field dirt because it's normally just that dirt. It's not good soil, so it'll be
right.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Moving on to our next agenda item, citizen comment. Attorney Patrick, Ms. Penny, you guys have the
Is this
citizens comment?
signature requirements? Is that it? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, signature. Thank you. Signature requirements.
I've got that too. I'll go ahead with it. If that's okay. I think you have a letter in your packet. If not, I apologize for that. But there seems to be a lot of discussion on signature authority.
Oh, yeah.
And who can sign and who can't sign. I was just going to quickly go through what we have now and make sure that satisfies the utility commissioners. On all MEAG documents, the chairman and the GM have authorization to sign documents relating to MEAG. On GFA draw request, that's the Georgia Environmental Facilities, where we borrow money for water and wastewater project. It requires one signature. The chairman, general manager, or the financial manager are authorized as signatories for the draws. On checks, the utility Commission's policy requires 2 signatures on checks. This is not a bank requirement. They will process bank transmissions with only 1 signature. Currently, the chairman, the general manager, Martha McAfee, and Kathy Johnson, the finance manager, are authorized signatories. A change request has been submitted to the banks, adding Commissioner Thompson. That change will not be effective until everyone goes to the bank and signs the new signature card. So if you haven't, please do so. Martha has requested to be removed from a signature card. So the new signature cards will reflect the chairman, Commissioner Thompson, the general manager, and Kathy Johnson, the finance manager. They will be the ones authorized to sign 2 signatures on a check. Either 2 of those 4. Contracts that have already been included in the budget and approved are signed by the general manager or his or her designee. For invoices, if an invoice is below $250, the operations manager signs the invoice and submits it to the accounts payable department. If a charge will be above $250, a requisition is completed by the purchaser. And that takes 2 steps. If the requisition is submitted by a senior foreman, the request must be approved also by the ops manager. And then step 2 is once it's approved by the ops manager, the finance manager approves the requisition and runs a process to turn the request into a purchase order. If a charge will be above $2,000, if the requisition is submitted by a senior foreman, the requisition must be approved by the operations manager. Step 2 is once it's approved by the ops manager, the director of finance approves the requisition. Step 3 is the general manager approves the requisition. And step 4, the finance manager runs a process to turn the request into a purchase order. Those are the signature requirements and how the invoices flow, if that is okay with everybody.
Question.
Yes.
Now, got a problem with the MEAG signatures. I think the council passed a resolution that the mayor and the chairman of the commission were the designated signers of documents for MEAG. Why did that change?
Who did you say, Marvin?
The mayor and the chairman of the commission.
I think for a while, that's really what was supposed to be happening. And we followed that process, even though we had Ms. Horton and my signature, but also Craig Mims. So 3 signatures on there, but it's supposed to be a representative from the city and a representative from the commission.
Okay, I will investigate that and get it changed from our documents. I'll check with the MEAG and also check with Ms. Patrick. I don't know if that'll be a problem either way. It's just that MEAG has required that in the past, and we can, I'm sure the commission can put whomever they want on it, or the mayor and the chairman. I don't see a problem with that. However, we'll check with MEAG and see.
Anything else? Any other discussion on the signature requirements? Okay, moving on. What's our next item? 220
220 Old Macon Road.
Macon Road.
That
Bluebird.
is, that address is really the old Bluebird Body Company generator, that great big building down right behind Bluebird, right next to the cemetery. The Utility Commission had signed a lease agreement with Bluebird back in 1980, 40-year term for use of that to house our generator that we had for many years. It was used, well, I don't know that it's ever been used because of an outage, and it was very, very expensive to maintain. And we had an employee whose whole duty was to maintain and take care of that generator. Anyway, years ago, the generator was sold, and we've since used the building to store equipment, heavy equipment and bulldozers and whatnot in that building. The lease has expired, and Bluebird has asked that generator building be returned to them. We, as I said, we're using it, but it's nothing absolutely necessary. We can rearrange and store it. But regardless of what we think, they have requested that it be returned to them. So I'd like, if you will, make a motion and approve that so we can go ahead with the legal process of changing the lease, returning the generator building back to Bluebird. They're not in a great big rush for it. They said as long as they got it by March, they would be okay. So I'd like to go ahead and take care of that if we could.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I have a question before you entertain the motion. What exactly would we have to do in order for us to return the building back? Do we have, I mean, I heard you say we had equipment there. How will where will we house our equipment?
We will just have to rearrange what we have. We also have pieces of equipment at that generator building that they have not been used in years. My position would be to see whatever it is that we haven't used and just get rid of it. Have an auction or see if anybody wants it. There's no point in keeping it and just let it sit there and age. But then if we can get rid of the stuff that the assets that we don't use, not going to use, then the stuff that's left over, we can store. We can find a place to put it. We've got,
Okay,
we've got
as long
storage there.
as long as we have a place to put what we need to put.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
The stuff that the equipment needs to be sheltered will continue to be sheltered. We're not going to leave it sitting outside.
Okay.
Does the utility commission surplus equipment that they don't need anymore? Or do they do
Yes.
this, like you say, just have an auction? You can surplus it?
Well, you bring up a good point, and I'm not trying to be so presumptuous, but if we have anything that we're going to surplus, I don't know that there'd be any objection to transfer it to the city if that's where you're going.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be up to the commissioners to, it'd be the easiest thing to do.
Need to know what the list is and what it is that you
I'll
don't
get
use.
I'll get a list, a specific list of all the equipment there, and we'll make it available to the commissioners and also to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have on the agenda. So everything else will be, the commissioners have put all the other items on
Had
the
a-
meeting.
You need
Okay.
an action
I
item
offer a
on-
motion.
Okay,
I offer a motion that we return the Bluebird, the building back to Bluebird upon Mr. Ned itemizing items that are in there and allowing the mayor and the commissioners to go over it. And whether or not we can surplus it or auction it or whatever is with it, determining upon whatever we do with it.
I second the motion.
But motion and properly second, I call for the vote. All those in favor by show of hands. Got everybody, Ms. Penny?
I
Will
got
you
it.
vote?
Thank you. I got
All
it.
right. All those against? Not in favor? No one's not in favor. All right, moving on to our next agenda item would be rate consultant.
Mr. Chairman, if I may speak. There,
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
thank you, sir. On the original agenda that I have, there is a section for constituent comments.
That's for that.
Item number.
Three.
It was item number 3. And I understand that there are some constituents that may want to comment for a little bit.
Ms. Penny, someone's handling the citizens comment? Is that what I heard?
Yes. Do we have anybody logged in right now who wants to comment? They were given the option to log onto the meeting and say what they wanted to say.
But logged in.
Yeah, because we have an iPad 36, a Carla Gowan, a D Gray, and an iPhone.
Well, no one comments off the citizens' comment portion. We'll move on with our agenda. Was that rate consultant?
This came up as a result of a conversation with Mr. Watson and a request from our citizens, our customers, to see what we can do about the light bills. We throw around some figures, and most of those it was not practical to do those kind of rollbacks. So what we suggested was we get a rate consultant to tell us how we can safely reduce our rates to let the general public know that we are at least trying to do something. We thought about one time 25%, but that might be too much. So I'm saying, so we want a rate consultant, and Mr. Watson said we can get one from Electric Cities to tell us how we can safely, if at all, roll our rates back to at least let the people know that we're trying to do something to fulfill the request that they made in lower light bills. Whether or not that will do it or not, we don't know, but we will at least be showing sensitivity to the people. So I don't think we need a motion for that. If we can agree to that by general principle, I think it will be something that we can move on with.
All right, we entertain this as rate consultant as general discussion. Instruct Mr. Watson to figure out this rate consultant and how we can do something about the rate for the utility bill, correct?
Right. To consult with a rate consultant, hire a rate consultant to tell us what is the safest amount that we can reduce, take away from, that will not interfere with the regular operations financially of the commission.
All right, understand that. Thank you, Mr. Kraft. You got it, Mr. Watson. We'll discuss that after, so we can go further with what information you find.
Said hire, but wouldn't we be qualified? Wouldn't we qualify to get that service from Electric Cities for what we have to pay for our membership?
Yeah, Electric Cities have rate consultants, so we can get it from them. But just a word of caution, you can't say you want a rate consultant to determine how you can lower your rates. I mean, very often they say you need to raise your rates, so you got to be ready to accept the results now.
It's a two-way street.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Well, that's a starting point.
It is. It's understandable, a very credible starting point. You know, we have that service, that membership, as you said, Mayor, that we pay into. Whatever they have, that we have access to it to help the Utilities Commission in the city of Fort Valley make things happen. And that rate consultant, Mr. Watson, yes, that's the way to go with that. All right.
Number 8.
8 contract.
I want to ask the attorney if we could design a program like the 8A program with the Small Business Association Administration, where we can certify local small contractors and women to be able to negotiate small contracts with local contractors within the limits of the law that we set. And I think that's something that the commission will be in charge of putting the criteria together and seeing how if we can go forward with that. You understand that, Ms. Patrick?
Yes, I understand.
Does the commission understand that?
Mike, you're trying to create a 8A contractor for minority business operators, correct?
Right. See,
Okay, isn't that some of the same thing that happens with the city with its contractors?
I think so, but the bottom line is this.
So we're just duplicating it.
No. City has nowhere near the kinds of work that we have contracted out. What I'm looking at is 25 million a year. In 4 years, 25, 20, we will have spent $100 million running the physical plan of this utility operation. And there used to be an initiative in Fort Valley that says, shop Fort Valley first. We are aware that there are things that some local contractors can't do. But wherever there can be one developed, that's what I'm saying, we need to be able to allow local and minority and women contractors to get the experience, whatever else it takes, to start circulating as much of this money as possible in our local economy. That's the bottom line for that.
Ms. Crafton,
Go ahead.
a question. So you're saying that the commission to put this program together to train these people? Okay, all right.
See,
Certified.
it will be, there are no passes. If you have the basic requirements, the insurance, the bond, and the capability to do the work, everything that's needed to be a contractor, but you can't bid on the big contracts, then we need to cut some things down so these folks can be able to get the experience on a smaller level, and ultimately go into probably some large contractors. But it's basically for local and minority and women who want to do business with the commission.
All right, I understand that, which is a great thing. Mr. Watson, Ms. Patrick, those are things we have to deal with from the experience and the legal point of it. Since we're dealing with minority, it's already 8A contractor initiative out there with the federal government. So we have to make sure what we're doing is, and what we're currently doing and moving forward to, are still in that wheelhouse of participating legally, if I make myself clear.
Mr. Chairman, I do know that we have some interns, an intern that I've seen out at the Utility Commission that deals with administrative part. But Fort Valley State University have an agricultural engineering department also out there. And I don't know if there could be any internships that the commission could utilize from that program too. Dr. Lattimore, and those are the ones that's kind of over that. If the ag engineering program out there could benefit our utility commission, I think we ought to tap in on it if
I agree. That's something we should maybe put on the mark.
Right.
Take that note for us, Ms. Penny, and bring it back to us so we can move forward and reach out to them and see what they have in the engineering, Mr. Watson. So they may have something that can assist the utility commission.
One thing Mr. Watson suggested was that we get together off camera and do some brainstorming about this and a whole lot of other stuff we could do, so that we have some idea as relates to what direction we're going. And I think that's a good idea. The next thing, employee tools.
Well, Ms. Crafton, before you move on to employee tools, just so you know, and the others, there is an annual retreat. If you remember, Ms. Mayor and Commissioner Thompson, that we do that in. It's just that Ms. Crafter, you, Ms. Lindsay came in on the hop and not the bop. So we annually do that around February, put things in motion that we try to accomplish, rather than coming off the muscle with just a hip pocket idea. We have things, that's when we do that in February, that we had done since I've been involved.
I understand that, but we have situations that come up between Februarys that need to be addressed, and we didn't know how to do that. Well, until we through with that, I understand you, you understand me.
Employee tools, that's you too?
Yeah, employee tools. One of the things I've noticed is that our policies are closed in. We have good people in all our departments, from meter readers all the way up to customer service. But there's no space in our policies that give our employees the flexibility to make judgment or decisions. You know what I'm saying? Everything is according to what the policy said, and our employees don't go outside the policy. And because of that, it's coming across real cold-hearted to the customers. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that we need to develop some tools, and I don't want to talk about them on this public meeting, wherein our customer service department, all the other departments that deal with the public can be able, without fear of reprisals, to, in other words, if I come in and I'm sick, you understand, and I can't do this month, then she ought to have the flexibility, you know, with what we set as the rules, to allow those persons to do whatever is needed to accomplish their needs and ours, and allow them to do that without having fear of somebody cussing them out or raising their hand or docking them or anything like that. So I'm saying, so in other words, right now, to be honest, it's just too cold. The atmosphere between the employees and the general customer base is just too cold, because when a customer has a problem, he has a problem right now. Understand? And we need to be able to allow that customer service director to make a resolution of that, and then let the council know, I mean the commission know, I've done this, and move on. You know what I'm saying? Because in that process, the protection of what's ours, and the needs of the customer will be incorporated in what we allow them to do. I don't think this will wait to February, Al. This is something we need to sit down and talk about real soon. Any comments?
I have a comment, and I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Ned said about the city and the utilities getting together. And I feel that that is much, much needed. I feel that we should all get together on one accord and brainstorm lots of things that we are encountering, lots of things that we have up against, you know, our city, things that we need to just really focus on. And if I'm not saying right now, but I feel that along the line, you know, we can all get together with the mayor, and we can all sit down and have reasonable conversations.
Amen.
About what we need, of course.
All right, any more discussion on this employee tools? And thank you, Ms. Thompson. No more discussion on the employee tools. We'll go to IGM. I guess you got another one, Mr. Crafter, IGM?
Yep. This might change based on what happened in executive session, but
What is IGM?
interim general manager.
Right.
Huh? If we wasn't in the mix audience,
Mr. Chairman, if I
I
may,
would have said something. I would have said something. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds like that may be a personnel issue for executive session.
I don't know. Go ahead.
No, okay.
We need to, as long as he's there, give him full authority to make whatever changes or do whatever we need to do to make our operation better. And that's all I was saying with that, and let him know that he has the full grace of the commission. Another thing was dealing with Mr. Gowan. I observed this man's demeanor in his job. I called on the weekend to leave a message, and he had it hooked up where it was forwarded. Messages are forwarded to wherever he is. This man is 24/7 on this job, and my concern is with the new technology and whatnot. One of the most important people in our operations is the IT man. So what I suggested to Mr. Watson, and he was thinking about it, he said too, was to raise Mr. Zach Gowan to the level of department head over the IT department and make him accountable only to the general manager. You know what I'm saying? And with whatever commensurate salary that goes with that. It's out there for your consideration.
Okay, any other items under I or discussion on the IGM?
Does anybody have a problem with what we said about Zach?
Well, I do.
I'd like to say something, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Ms. Watson.
Marvin and I did have a conversation about the subject he's speaking of, and it did not die after our conversation ended. I would just like to let Mr. Crafter know that it's being worked.
I understand that. All right. Well now, what I'm saying now, it's been worked with the blessings of the commission.
Can I make a comment? When you're talking about the city and the commission working together all the time, whenever we've had problems with IT, and you know our IT is up in Atlanta somewhere, Augusta, whatever it is, our support is. There has not been a time that we have run up against a problem down here at City Hall that we have called Zach and not got a response and got the problem solved. And of course, now we don't want y'all to fire him because he was supporting us and he's working for y'all, but it all works together. I do know that the man is worth his pay. And that's all I need to say.
I have another comment. I have called him on numerous occasions, and he has been right here for me. And whatever commensurate to what we need to give him, it's well deserved.
It seems as if
Any
that
other?
move has the blessing of the commission. We can move on.
Any more IGM discussion? All right, next thing is housing rehab. Is that
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take these two together, the last two. For some reason, it appears that the funds for these projects were misinterpreted as coming from somewhere else. The funds for these projects are coming from basically the credits that we have with MEAG as it relates to our bills. As it relates to whatever that means. We're in the process now of getting those items audited, so we will know exactly what it is. Well, now, I've sent this week articles from the Albany Herald, everybody involved, showing where the money that came from the Municipal Competitive Trust that was closed January 1 last year, the city of Albany was able to get, had $70 million, and half of that, I understood, went to credits, other half was interpreted into cash for the needs in Albany. I don't know what our amount or share of that $600 million is. What we've been trying to get that since January 2018, and recently since we met in September, and we don't have it yet. Now, if Albany has 70+ million dollars, and over the years they have used X number of dollars from that trust fund to finance city government in Albany, then I'm certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have enough money to do what we're talking about doing to help the folk, to help the people in both of these areas, and we've said, and we've had complaints from the community and customers. And every time complaints came, well, you need to get your house insulated, or you need windows, or you need this, you need that, and you need other. To people who can't pay the light bills, all the suffering of what's going on to our people and our customers. They had to sit along with me, because I'm one of them, and watch $6 million be put into a brand new administration building or headquarters over there for the commission. And don't talk about the fine SUVs and all this other stuff they ride around in. Back in the day, you had a Ford, what they call that? No town car, what that big Ford they used to have. Anyway, it was big enough. It was big enough and put enough and new enough to go anywhere we needed to go. Bottom line is this: what we have on the strength and the backs of the people who pay these light bills. And at one time, have I seen this commission reduce rates or show us what rates would reduce? All we talking about was what somebody told us. See what I'm saying? I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have both enough money in the credits and enough money to once we stop this bleeding, to redirect a lot of funds so that the problem that we have now won't be had. And as a result of that, I'm not going to back down from the motion we passed in September, asking for the 2 months and for the housing rehab money. The emergency money was basically asked for because what the man just got to talking about. We got over 1,000 cases of COVID in this town, and all indications is that this thing is going up. We need to be able to help provide our customers and citizens of this town, if they want to go mask, a mandatory mask thing, we be able to allow the city or somebody to have those masks to help protect our customers. If 50% of our customers die, we're in bad shape. So I'm not going to defend anymore the serious need for the things we ask for. And there's one other thing, caveat, and this is to the people, the customers. Until something positive or official comes from the commission, you got to pay your bill, because if your bill is not current, you won't be able to participate in this relief or In the final stages, we might come up with something that's an alternative to that, but you're gonna have to allow us to do that. And we cannot not pay the bills, because not paying the bills has us in a little crutch. You see what I'm saying? You got to pay. If you get a bill, pay it.
Thank you, Ms. Craft.
And until we get through with this process and putting everything together, you benefit. So from an order, I like to move that we continue to do what we originally voted on.
Discussion this question.
And that was for the housing, rehab, and the COVID relief.
Ms. Craft, I got a question in housing. I said you housed it at housing rehab. When you were a councilman and we got that $750,000 CHIP grant and the block grant, what all things happened before the COVID relief with that? Did anything happen with that? Where did it go? How did it happen? We're talking about that. And then you pointed on Albany and all that's done. What did they do to reduce the rates for the customers?
Hey,
I mean, from 2018 till 2 months ago, they still were complaining their rates were fluctuating up and down, and ours were not fluctuating up and down. So in discussion of what they did, what Albany did for the city out of that money, what did they do for the customers, the ratepayers?
Number one, there is ongoing right now a suit that was brought against City of Albany and its utilities by the customers, because they did not use the money from the trust fund for the purpose that it was intended for. And it's the same thing here, and that was to help reduce the cost of the service. And a suit going on right now for that. As it relates to 750,000, yeah, we got that, but we applied for that $750,000 so that you can run the infrastructure to the truck stop on the bypass. And when we got the money, we were informed that we could not use it for that project, and we lost that $750,000 because we tried to use it for stuff that we're supposed to be doing out of our budget. With that, I hope the project, the trust stop project, is on the way right now, because that's what we should do. Bottom line is this: I'm making a motion to go either way. That's what I'm supposed to do. Understand? And I believe that the resources are there. And my motion is let's continue with what we did, what we decided to do in the September meeting, and that's the 6 months, the 2 months, and the housing rehab. That's the motion.
So you're asking for a motion for 2 months, no utility bill, and housing
to do what we the motion. We have already decided that because of questions. It was delayed, and the motion was last time for the same one I'm making now, to continue with what we had decided to do in September and move forward.
That's the motion that was Ms. Patrick Dean that was not doable?
No. Because something was supposed to be illegal. You understand? And I say, I don't want to deal with that on social media. But the funds intended for the services that we're asking for, or what it comes from, the credits that the utility commission has through its customers already with MEAG. And if we don't know anything about what happened before January last year, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever our share, and we're in the process of finding it out now, whatever our share of that $600 million municipal trust that was closed January 1st, 2019, we have not spent uh, 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 $20 million in credits in a year. Understand? So, hey, in my opinion, my belief, once we identify the money, another thing is, the city of Albany had a choice to tell MEAG what to do with the money. We have not had a choice unless somebody with this commission or somebody in a high place decided that they were going to tell MEAG without the commission what to do. And if that happened, then somebody's head need to roll. Bottom line, whatever that amount is, I said the commission need to be involved in deciding whether it's going to be in credits or in cash, or whatever denomination that better serve the needs of the commission.
Attorney Patrick, you have anything that what, because it all seems like the same thing that was you talked about last time.
Mr. Chairman, he made a motion though, didn't he? Something need to be done to that motion, need to be thrown out, or you need to go ahead and second that motion and then go on with your discussion. Otherwise, it's a dead motion.
It's a dead motion. Attorney Patrick?
Okay, but before she,
All right.
so, because you asked a question that I need to answer, and that was the $750,000 CHIP grant that you brought up. That program is still in process because the Department of Community Affairs have
Point of order,
requirements
point
and
of order.
stipulations that have
Point
to
of
be
order.
done. And so that program is still being worked. Okay,
Point of order. Can I get a second for the motion?
he said it was dead. That's why, only
No,
reason I
no,
said
hey,
what I said.
it can't be dead when you're talking all through the process.
Okay.
I made the motion. Can I get a second for the motion?
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Attorney
Ready for
Attorney
the question?
Patrick.
Ready for the question?
Question. Okay, I guess that's when I should be saying this now. The way that was asked, that kind of implied that the city had $750,000. What did they do with that? They messed up that or threw that away. I want to clarify that there are 5 houses, persons going through the process right now, and you can't move state money faster than they want to give it to you. And
we
so
know.
all of the hoops have been jumped, and with COVID, that slowed things down. That kind of slowed it down a little bit, but it's still underway. That's all I needed to say. So
That's not-
pour that out. It kind of says to people that we have been negligent, and that has been done to us before, which is wrong. Okay. All right, sir.
Mr.
Point of order. That's for the $300,000 CHIP grant that you got now.
Yeah, we didn't have no CDBG.
No.
CDBG grant
Look,
went to the
hey.
Utility Commission for sewage.
I'll say that again.
The CDBG block grant went to the Utility Commission to replace infrastructure with sewage. That went.
How
to
much
the
was that
Utility
grant?
That was I think that was $750,000 too. That was a
$750,000.
CDBG block grant, and I just signed off on a payment request on that. I think the last one last week, but
Okay.
that was not for the city. Well, it helped the city too, cause stormwater, sewage, and sewer. That's what we agreed. We agreed to give up our CDBG block grant that we would do with housing for that to happen. So now we've been working together. So anyway.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. We're not ignorant. The attorney has given us
Yes.
a whole opinion on everything we did already. And at this point, it's her responsibility to defend us if anything that we did is wrong. You see what I'm saying? And I don't say I disagree with some of the stuff the attorney said, but I also sent you and everybody else a copy of the gratuitous clause. And the gratuitous clause has nothing to do with what we're talking about here because we're not using that money. We're using credits that belongs to the people who pay them. You know what I'm saying? So at that rate, what we're doing is not illegal. And it's in the purview of the commission to do those things that we have in this motion Based on the millions of dollars that were spent or were given over the years to the hospital authority, or the $500,000 here and there for the Boys and Girls Club, all the money for the Touchdown Club, and everybody else that received money. Churches getting $25,000 and $40,000 for a truck. Hey, all of this is the same money and it's under the same principle. Because that happened, it's my position that this is proper for us to do. And with that, I should call for the vote.
Ms. Crafter, while we were discussing that, Ms. Patrick had, like you say, brought up other things, and we get to this point and we'll call that vote. I just wanted to make sure that we were doing everything. You know, her credibility with State Board is on the line, just like everybody else's credibility. We got all that stuff and we followed her stuff. We make sure there was federal funding put out for housing and everything, all that good stuff. We got that, Mr. Crafter, and the COVID relief. But you had a motion. Before I go on in the discussion, Attorney Patrick, before I call for the vote.
If there's any questions, I can answer some questions. I think there may have been a question to me, but I can't remember what that question was.
Well, my question was making sure that if we are legal, like I said, I'm not willing to wear an orange jumpsuit. Make sure we are legal in what we are doing, what we are attempting to do for housing rehab. If sounds like city purviews to me, COVID relief, you know, those things. I just want to make sure we are legal. That's all.
Okay, so the law when it comes to the COVID relief, my comments I made last time they still stand now. But I can say that from our last meeting, I did mention changing the criteria for the COVID-19 payment assistance program that the commission currently runs through the Middle Georgia Community Action Agency. That criteria has been revised for the eligibility, which will open it up to just about anyone who is in need. There is no longer an income requirement for that. The criteria is specifically if someone is laid off or has reduced hours because of COVID-19, they have a positive COVID-19 diagnosis, which caused them to lose work and lose income, lack of child care resulting in loss of income, medical hardships, and reduced household income due to COVID-19. So the criteria that our understanding is that made most people not qualify was the income, and that's no longer on the table. So there is a new revised information sheet that is prepared and with the commission's approval can roll out immediately. That will open this up for assistance to anyone, any constituent of the Fort Valley Utility Commission in those 3 counties that it services for at least 2 months. And the person who is requesting the benefit of this program cannot have had assistance since December 1st, 2020, which is recent, which is just now. And they can get assistance on their bills for those 2 months up to $350. So that's the new criteria to assist with those that are in need. As I said, this criteria is almost non-existent from my point of view. I think that this is something that's going to help the constituents, all the constituents that the Utility Commission touches. And I have it prepared to send out to all the commissioners after we log off. So that's my comments on the COVID-19 payment assistance program. I believe it was asked, is this legal? This program is legal. It has application process, and just about anyone who applies can get the assistance they need. On to the rehab. The rehab, you said it was that legal. Doing the weatherization and energy efficiency is something that would be proper use of funds for the Utility Commission. If you're doing cosmetic changes, that is improper use of funds. So that is something that the commission can be sued for. And if they are sued for it, yes, I do have to defend you, but the likelihood of you succeeding is slim to none because the law is the law. It is black and white. on the four corners, there's no questions as far as what is allowed and what is not allowed. So that is my comment on that.
Thank you,
Oh,
Attorney. So what I'm understanding
Yeah,
is the
go ahead.
MGCEA, nobody has to go to jail, nobody has to get knocked out or anything. The other way,
is
the
correct.
motion that's on the floor is there's a lot of loopholes and things that could go strange. Mayor?
I was just going to ask, the money that was allocated earlier, like you say, as she said, by the commission, I think it was 1.2 or 1.3 million dollars or something like that, to go to Community Action Agency to administer, and that had something to do with relief from utility bills and all that kind of stuff. If that money was added to and channeled through that same way with the criterias being relaxed, there's no gratuity law that would hit us as the way I'm understanding. And I don't see why we couldn't really do that. Now we're talking about having to deplete our reserves. You won't be depleting reserves because our reserves was like $4.2 million, I think it was. And before we did that, we put $1.3 million into that fund. And I think $1 million to go back in that is not going to deplete anything. We've been crying about making the utility commission broke, and I hadn't said anything because they talked against the city and said that we were doing what we weren't supposed to do. But talking about making the utility commission broke and all of these kinds of things. Well, if the people, the ratepayers, have kept the utility commission from going broke all these years, now it's time for the utility commission to do something for them. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
Thank you.
Now,
All right, thank you,
can I finish?
Yes.
Nothing that Ms. Patrick said applies to the programs that the motion is on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not talking about no what that weatherization, what that term was used.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
It's weatherization.
We're not talking about we're talking about a general welfare matter. Well, the general welfare of the people, of the customers, of the commission are being taken care of. And as I say, the money for this is not coming from any other agencies other than from the funds that we have as credits, and those credits to this point have not been identified, especially those coming from the municipal trust fund that was closed January 1 last year. So based on the fact that this is a separate project, I totally agree with Miss Patrick. You see? But this is not one of these projects don't apply to what she's talking about.
And to clarify, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
if the utility commission does have credits available from the municipal trust fund, then they can use the credits as a credit directly to their constituents if they have current credits available.
And
All right,
the
thank
law
you. So we
says-
call for the
law
vote.
says- the law and the contract says that the credits going to be used to help reduce the rates and the bills for the people. And I say that's what the commission, I mean the city and the utility department in Albany is being sued about now. They did not do that. They used the money for something else. What I'm saying now, we're going to use the money for the specific purpose of what it was intended for in the contract, and that it was to help folk with the light bill. And to my knowledge, you correct me if I'm wrong. The last thing I heard from a rate situation with the utility commission was when they raised the rates 12.5% for no reason, ain't giving no reason, and then added another 5% increase for environmental cost recovery. Ain't been no reduction in nothing for the people. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to continue to have that position, Mr. Chairman, that's your business. But
I
don't
call for the
deny
vote,
people
Mr.
in this
Crafton.
town what they deserve, and I call for the vote.
I call for the vote, Mr. Crafter. All those in favor of Mr. Crafter's proposal, by show of hands. We had the motion, now call for the vote. All those in favor by show of hands. You got it, Miss Penny? Got Mr. Crafter and Miss Rose.
I got it.
All right, all those that are not in favor of Mr. Crafter's proposal by show of hands.
I got it.
All right. So we have two, Mayor, you abstain?
Oh,
No,
I didn't abstain. Y'all said I
no,
said no. I
no,
was-
she had, you got a tie. You got a tie, and according to the law that y'all got the mayor under, she can only vote unless it's a tie. So
in place of
the
a
mayor,
tie. I
the
understand.
mayor has the right to vote right now.
I read, Mr. Crafter, I'm gonna vote in favor of, because I feel like that's in favor of the people.
So the mayor votes in favor of Mr. Crafter's proposal to give, to do the HUD, the housing rehab and COVID-19. You got that, Miss Penny?
I got it.
The mayor was the tiebreaker in favor of the housing rehab COVID-19.
Mr. Chairman?
You have that, Miss Penny? I did not
I
hear.
got it. Thank you.
All right, you have the vote count. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. The next
Chairman.
agenda item would be
Chairman.
Executive session.
Mr. Chairman, before you go there, I think we need to immediately meet with the A team or whomever and determine the rules of the game. Thank
Ms. Crafter, we can discuss this in executive session.
right.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
No, that's not
Um,
an exercise. It's an issue.
All right, need a motion to go from open meeting to executive session.
I offer a motion that we go from work session to executive meeting.
Second, all right, call for the vote. Everybody vote. Let's go into most executive session. Thank y'all. See you in the executive session. All right, thank you. We're live. Thank you, Utility Commission. Back out of executive session. I need a motion. Looking for a motion to bring it back into public meeting.
I make a motion to bring us back into public meeting.
Second.
Second.
All right,
Second.
proper motion second. Thank you. All right. We, Ms. Crafter, any further words from you at this point?
I so move that we accept item 1 as discussed in executive session.
Properly motion, and I need a second on discussion on item 1 from executive session.
I second the motion.
Second by Mr. Lindsay. I need a vote. All those in favor? You got it, Ms. Penny?
I have it. Thanks.
All right, all those against, I'm showing against, I'm all this litigation stuff got me messed up, but anyway. All right, moving on to the next item in executive session. Entertain a motion on the item 2 from executive session.
I don't want to make all of them.
I'll make the motion.
All right.
Motion by Steve, looking for a second for item 2 from executive session.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thompson. Thank you. Thank you. All the, for all those in favor for the item 2 by show of hands.
It's beginning of that.
Got it?
I have it. Thanks.
All right. And all those against the motion? I guess everybody was unanimous, huh? All right. Well, I thank you all, commissioners.
Just a minute, Ms. Al. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I see that Carla Gowan has stuck with us throughout this thing. And if she has anything to say, I think you need to give her an opportunity. If she might have just went to sleep and left her thing on.
I think she's with us because I invited my council member if they wanted to come to the meeting this evening. I invited them. I did not send the Zoom to them, of course, but I always invite them to come. All right, to the public meetings.
Okay, well,
Yes,
she's mighty quiet, so,
she probably playing with her fur ball.
that
Question.
completes our meeting for
Question,
December
question.
7th,
Question, Mr.
2020.
Chairman. Question, Mr. Chairman. With us having nothing else to do, is it necessary for us to have the meeting next week?
No, sir, we advertise this as a called meeting, not a work session, a called meeting. Since
So-
it is the season, Christmas, this will be our only meeting for the month of December. We see y'all in January,
All right.
all right?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Crafter. Everybody, Merry Christmas to everybody, commissioners, Mr.
Merry
Lindsay,
Christmas.
Mayor Williams, Mayor
to you.
Thompson,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to
Crafty,
you all, everybody.
Attorney Patrick, Merry Christmas to everybody, Zach, Miss Carla for watching and kind of joining in the public. We thank y'all. I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Everybody stay prayed up, stay masked up, social
One thing,
distance. All right,
Mr. Mark,
I do thank you. I do
Mr.
deem this
Mr.
meeting adjourned.